For folks that don't know about Remedy Drive or have never kind of got a chance to hear your music, like tell everybody a bit about like your band and how it got started and what you guys are all about.
Remedy Drive started in college. It was me and my brothers, and we just started playing free concerts on the quad. We were indie for most of the time, like we were independent, doing our own thing. We signed a record deal in like 2008, and that's where our song All Along went to radio, and people found out, a lot more people found out about us that way. But it was hard for me in that industry, the contemporary Christian music industry, to be honest and to write honest songs. And I had from the beginning, like Invisible Children, that organization that helped expose a warlord kidnapping young boys and forcing them in certain awful kind of slavery, and their sisters into a certain awful kind of slavery, forcing them to kill for his stupid war. That had moved me so deeply. And in 2004, 2005, we did some shows with Invisible Children, fundraisers, and it was always a part of our passion, but I could never get anybody in the music industry excited about making music that it would not sell. So in 2013, we left the Christian music industry to make our first in a trilogy of counter-trafficking albums to talk about injustice, talk about slavery and trafficking. In the middle of writing that album, I met a guy named Matt Parker from the Exodus Road, a counter-trafficking organization. He was looking for a band to represent what they were doing, to talk about it, to try to recruit people. And that's when my life changed. I was like, man, if I'm singing about this, how can I sing about it and not do anything? The Exodus Road is an NGO, a non-government organization that exists to find and free slaves. And they're based a few hours south of you in the Springs. And so for the past years, I've joined Matt and the Exodus Road around the world on undercover operations, spying on mafias and cartels and criminal networks that are selling kids. So we're online trying to prevent trafficking here at home, working with the FBI, working with different law enforcement agencies. And we're around the world. We're in India, in Latin America, and in Southeast Asia. So sometimes I go over with them to pose as a foreign tourist that's interested in buying somebody for sex, which is a hard job to play. Sometimes it's in clubs, sometimes it's in Latin America. We just have these parties to try to get these criminal networks, which they're smart and they have technology too, but try to get them to come out of hiding and to trust that police operation. And so far, the Exodus Road has rescued around 1,400 people from slavery, which is something I'm pretty excited about.
So let's talk about the lyrics of this song, right? Brighter Than Apathy. Yeah. One thing that I really wanted to kind of get your actual perspective on was this light from days of old. What was the inspiration for that? And talk to us a little bit about kind of that lyric.
In abolition conversations and in abolition history, you go back to this fire on a hillside. And I imagine this prince that escaped out into the desert sees this fire on the hillside and goes up, and he has this call to life at that moment, and you realize he had the position he had in order to use that position, use that platform to go bring 1 million people to their freedom, and they walk through on dry ground. I don't know what the astronomical alignment was at that point in time, but I imagine that same fire burning from an explosion. And by the time another woman named Moses saw that fire, Harriet Tubman, they called her Moses, teaching them to weave into their lyric, into their forbidden, outlawed melodies that they'd sing, looking up to that star called Polaris and those explosions, that fire. And the connection I'm trying to make is there is that in all of us. And when the Maker fastened the foundations of the earth so long ago, the morning stars looked in and they danced and they sang this song. And so this fire and this melody and this song that we're all born remembering it from some other place somehow. And we're leaning into it. I just want us to remember that is us. That same fire from Moses and Harriet Tubman is a fire that is innate. It's woven into the very fabric of our souls. It echoes in a deep chamber of our heart that we don't even know exists. And I just want to just wake that up.
So the last thing about the song that I wanted to ask you about and just get your thoughts on, right? When you ask the question, what will you spend it on, right? And then you
Yeah.
say something I don't think most of us think about, that we don't think about what happens when we're gone.
Well, that I think at the end of the day, we're all wondering that question. What will be said of my life? And at points, this weight of glory that is in all of our hearts, this longing for recognition that it is really can be really toxic, that we're, looking for approval, but it speaks to this longing that we all have to hear the phrase "well done," and I want that to be said about my life. Well done. And today we are encompassed by this cloud of witnesses, by the abolitionists that have gone before us, by so many people that have decided that their 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish actually do matter. In that naive, audacious way, a child said, here's my lunch. Maybe, like you said, we don't have to have a rock band or a nonprofit, or you have what you have. You have your currency that I don't have. You have your pulpit. I got my microphone. Will I spend the currency of that? What will I spend it on? And Isaiah, this prophet, says, if you spend yourself on behalf of the oppressed, then your light will rise like the noonday. And then once again, it's that light. Human history is this fight of a great evil to extinguish that flame. And in all the thousands and thousands of years that we've been here, and the fact that that flame is still going, I think it speaks to the fact that this darkness, it cannot comprehend the light. It can't. And when you shine that candle, there's nothing darkness can do but flee from that candle. And that's all the references, man. It just talks about a candle. It doesn't talk about a bonfire necessarily. All you got is a candle. And I want to spend that little bit of light that I have. Like Bono from U2 said it. We're U2, we're a rock band. Maybe at the end of the day, we've been able to tear a little corner off the darkness. And you see the amount of light that group, those 4 guys have put into the planet. And he describes it as maybe tear a little corner off the darkness. Well, then I'm going to tear a little corner off the darkness too, in my own way.
I love it. I love that. Tear a little corner off the darkness. So